Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be looking at some pretty interesting expressions in English.
Okay.
We've got 2 phrasal verbs and a couple of idioms,
Right.
ones that you probably recognize,
Mm-hmm.
but we're going to kind of unlock all the nuances and where they come from,
Yeah.
and even give you some tips on how to really make them stick in your memory.
Exactly.
So it's not just about understanding them.
Right.
It's about being able to actually use them.
In your everyday life.
Yeah, in your conversations
Yeah.
and your writing.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
let's jump right in.
Okay.
You know, when you're in like a negotiation,
Right.
and maybe it's a work thing,
Mm?
maybe it's even just like deciding where to go to dinner,
Yeah.
and you've been pushing hard for your position,
Okay.
but you can kind of sense it's time to yield. You haven't lost,
Right. Yeah.
but you've strategically decided to give in.
To give in.
What does that really mean?
Well, I think giving in is interesting because it's not just about surrender. It suggests a level of awareness
Uh-huh.
about the power dynamics that are at play.
You're making a choice.
Yeah. There's almost always like a moment of resistance before that concession happens.
And it's not a new concept.
No.
I mean, this goes back to the late 16th century.
Wow.
The expression give in.
Wow. That's amazing.
I mean, and you think about it.
Yeah.
Give implies yielding.
Mm-hmm.
An aggression core suggests a personal concession.
Like you're folding inward a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like you're giving a part of yourself away,
It is.
but maybe strategically
Right.
to gain something else.
So you get something else.
So think about those moments,
Yeah.
not just in negotiations, but
Right.
resisting that extra slice of cake
Oh, yeah.
or, sticking to that workout routine.
Absolutely.
Give in speaks volumes.
It really does.
And our source had a great analogy for remembering this one.
Okay.
Imagine like a tug of war.
Okay.
2 sides pulling with all their might, and then one side just finally lets go of the rope.
Yeah.
That's giving in.
Yeah. It's a really vivid image
Yeah.
that captures that moment of release,
Wow.
of finally succumbing
Yeah.
to the pressure.
Yeah. So you can use other words, of course.
Oh, sure.
Submit, relent, concede.
Yeah.
But they don't quite have
No.
that same visceral impact
They don't.
as give in.
No, they don't.
Okay, let's shift gears to something
Yeah.
a little bit more visceral.
All right.
How would you describe someone who is extremely thin, like almost skeletal?
So there's no idiom more striking than a bag of bones.
A bag of bones.
Wow.
That really does paint a stark image.
It does.
It's not just being slim.
Right.
It suggests this lack of flesh.
Almost like a fragility.
Almost like a fragility, yeah.
Yeah, you can almost see through them.
Right.
It's very powerful.
And this goes way back to
Oh, yeah.
early 19th century or even earlier.
Or even earlier.
So imagine, if you will,
Okay.
a lightweight sack with only bones inside. That's the picture that our source uses to really drive this home.
Yeah. And it's effective.
Now, you might use this to describe
Mm-hmm.
like a character in a book or
Sure.
maybe comment on someone's alarming weight loss.
Yeah, but I think it's important to be mindful
And
of...
Yeah, the sensitivity surrounding body image.
Absolutely. We're exploring the richness of language,
Right.
but always with an awareness of context and appropriateness.
For sure.
So you could use words like skeletal, gaunt, or emaciated,
Right.
but they don't quite pack the same punch as bag of bones.
No, they don't.
No.
Okay, now, for something a little more unexpected,
All right.
picture this. You're going about your day,
Okay.
everything's normal,
Mm-hmm.
and then, bam, something totally throws you off guard.
You're completely taken aback.
Taken aback?
Yeah.
You're surprised, shocked, speechless for a moment?
Yeah.
It perfectly captures that feeling
It does.
of being jolted out of your complacency
Yeah.
by something so unexpected. And it's fascinating because this idiom actually has nautical origins,
Really?
late 17th century.
Wow.
And apparently it was used to describe a ship
Okay.
whose sails were suddenly caught by wind from the opposite direction,
Oh, wow.
which, if you think about it, would be pretty jarring on a ship.
I would imagine so.
So that feeling of sudden disruptive surprise
Right.
translates perfectly to our human reactions.
It does.
So you're sailing along smoothly,
Yeah.
and then wham, the wind hits from behind,
Oh.
jolting you forward.
Yeah, that's a good way to remember it.
So, of course, you've got your synonyms. Astonished, startled, surprised.
Sure.
But taken aback really emphasizes that sense of being caught off guard.
Of being like knocked back a step.
Almost like you've been knocked back a step.
Yeah.
Okay, now how about we delve into something
Okay.
a bit more karmic?
Ooh. I like where this is going.
We all know the phrase, what goes around comes around.
Right.
But what if those consequences were more potent? More like a cosmic boomerang.
Okay, you've got me intrigued.
That's where the idiom reap the whirlwind comes in.
Reap the whirlwind.
It suggests that the consequences
Yeah.
are not just proportionate,
Mm-hmm.
they're amplified,
Okay.
perhaps even devastating.
Like the universe is saying, you thought you could get away with that.
Exactly. And this has some serious weight to it because this comes directly from the Bible.
Oh, wow.
Hosea 8:7 to be exact.
Okay.
The verse states, "For they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind."
So it's not just about karma. It suggests that the
Yeah.
consequences can be disproportionately severe.
You might think of it as like the butterfly effect
Right.
of bad decisions.
Exactly.
Our source suggested picturing tiny wind seeds growing into a raging storm.
Wow, that's it.
It's a dramatic and memorable way to
It is.
visualize those spiraling consequences.
It is.
So while you can say things like suffer the consequences or face repercussions,
Right.
reap the whirlwind adds a layer
Yeah.
of drama and intensity. It does.
Okay, so we've covered some really powerful expressions.
We have.
Give in, bag of bones, taken aback, reap the whirlwind. Each one offers a unique way
Yeah,
to add color and nuance to our language.
it does.
And maybe even make us think a little deeper
Right.
about the situations we encounter.
I think so.
Absolutely. And that's just the beginning.
Oh,
We've got more idioms and phrasal verbs lined up
right.
that are sure to expand your vocabulary
Wonderful.
and give you even more tools
Yes.
for expressive communication.
I'm ready for round 2.
I am too.
So let's dive back in with an expression you
Right.
might use when you're trying to make a decision,
Uh-huh.
but need to narrow down your options.
Okay.
Imagine you're facing a complex problem.
Yeah.
Maybe a medical diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
business strategy,
Mm-hmm.
even just choosing a vacation destination.
We've all been there, right?
Right?
So many choices, so much information.
Yeah. How do you begin to sift through it all?
Yeah. Well, one powerful tool is the ability to rule out
Rule out.
certain possibilities.
Okay.
It's about taking like a systematic approach,
Uh-huh.
using logic and evidence
Right.
to eliminate those options that are
Right.
less likely
Mm,
or less desirable.
So it's like being a detective,
Exactly.
gathering clues and crossing suspects off the list.
Right. Ruling out is about
Yeah.
using critical thinking
Well,
to simplify those complex situations.
Absolutely.
And it's a skill
Yeah.
that's valuable
For sure.
in all aspects of life,
Right.
not just crime solving.
Not just crime solving, no.
And it's interesting, this phrase
Yeah.
first appeared in the late 19th century.
Okay.
Really suggests a deliberate and reasoned process.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about random guessing.
Yeah.
It's about making informed decisions
Informed decisions, right?
based on what you know.
Absolutely.
And to help remember it,
Yeah.
our source gave us a pretty simple visual.
Okay.
Imagine a ruler literally crossing out options.
Ooh, I like it on a list.
Clear, concise, gets right to the point.
Yeah. And of course, you can use synonyms,
Sure.
exclude, eliminate, dismiss,
Yeah.
but they don't quite have that same sense of authority
Yeah.
that comes with ruling something out.
Ruling it out. Yeah. Now let's shift gears to an expression
Yeah.
that captures a different kind of decision making.
Okay.
The decision to emulate someone you admire.
Ah, yes. Those people we look up to.
Look up to.
Those individuals who inspire us.
Exactly.
Who embody qualities
Yes.
we aspire to develop in ourselves.
Whether it's a mentor,
Right.
a historical figure, or
Mhm.
even a fictional character,
Right.
these are the people who set the bar high,
Yeah.
make us want to be better versions of ourselves.
It's almost as if we're literally looking up at them,
Yeah.
acknowledging their stature, both literally and figuratively.
Right. And this idiom
Yeah.
dates back to the mid-19th century.
Okay.
Beautifully captures that sense of admiration and aspiration.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing their strengths,
Mm-hmm.
their accomplishments,
Yeah.
their values as something to strive for.
Our source provided a helpful visual for this one.
Okay.
Think back to your childhood.
Okay.
Picture yourself as a child,
All right.
literally looking up at a taller, wiser adult.
Aw.
It's a reminder of those formative years
It is.
when we're especially influenced by
Yeah.
those we admire.
It's a lovely image.
It is.
And it highlights the importance of having those positive role models.
Oh, sure.
in our lives.
Absolutely.
Of course, you could use synonyms like admire, respect,
There.
even idolize,
Yeah.
but they don't quite convey that same sense of striving to reach a higher level.
That look up to does.
Yeah, look up to does, yeah.
Now, for a phrase that has a
Okay.
more, shall we say,
Yeah.
unstable feel
That'll
to
do
it,
it. Yeah.
how about fall apart?
Fall apart.
This one definitely has a
Yeah.
more negative connotation.
It does.
It suggests a loss of control, a breakdown.